I did this to keep documentation on these things. Not that human resources will necessarily have my back, but I do these things in all matters, no matter what. Teachers are inundated with threats from students, parents, even staff members all the time. And this article I have pulled up discusses one such situation. The headline reads, "Struggling students' parents threaten legal action if their teacher continues taking their phone away in class." Published on yourtango.com on November the 3rd, 2024. So let me give you the setup. There's a specific school, which is not named, that recently implemented a no cell phone policy, just like a number of other states and school districts in the U.S. have done so this year. So students are not allowed to use their cell phones on campus. They have to have them turned off. It's just a basic cell phone ban. Why? Well, we'll get into that in just a few moments. But in an attempt to mitigate the issue and refocus students' attention, the educator sent a reminder of the rule to all of the students' parents. However, the response from one parent in particular was shocking, to say the least. Not only did she claim the school's policy was this individual teacher's vendetta against her son, but she also threatened legal action if his phone was ever confiscated. Classic case of playing the victim card. Moving on to through the article, it says, despite her son struggling academically, the parent passionately defended his cell phone use. So this is what was said in the email. "I must reiterate that I will not have some teachers take away my child's phone. It is theirs, and you are not permitted to take it," the parent wrote in an email. "If I receive notice that their phone was taken, you will be hearing from my legal team." Harsh words. And the teacher provided some context, some information on this student, saying, "This is a sophomore with the reading and writing level of a second grader," the teacher explained. "They are only capable of writing 2 sentences. So no, it's not just an issue of a student's property, but the future of their educational career and success." Many commenters condemned this parent's priorities as phones provide a distraction, one that is evidently detrimental to their ability to focus and learn. So this article is based on a now deleted Reddit post. You can still visit the Reddit thread, but the original post is gone, and you can see the comments that were left in regard to this post. And I decided to highlight this article and discuss it because, a lot of teachers deal with this sort of thing. Cell phones in schools, threats from parents, and just needing support in handling these situations. If you're a teacher that has had these types of communications with parents, you may think, well, what do I do in the event that a parent threatens legal action against me for something that I'm supposed to be doing? So we're going to talk about all those things. But first, I want to look here at this other article I have pulled up, which talks about cell phone usage in school. It says, which states ban or restrict cell phones in schools? This is from several months ago in June 28th, 2024. And you can see here this little state policies on cell phones at a glance. So some states have, there are differing policies right now, but the one that I'm most familiar with is Louisiana's, because that's where I live. And we have a statewide restriction here. If you, this is on edweek.org, but scrolling down here, let me just tell you what Louisiana's policy is. There's a statewide restriction. An existing Louisiana law that prohibits students from using cell phones while on public school grounds and buses has been amended with additional restrictions. The law now requires students to turn off their devices and stow them away until the end of the instructional day. The law has exceptions for students whose individualized education plan, or IEP, requires the use of an electronic telecommunication device. This was signed and became effective on May the 28th of this year, 2024. So the school that I currently work at, we have this policy in full effect, and I absolutely love it. The policy has been amended and placed in the school handbook, and I have not had any issues with phones at all this year. The only thing that I've seen is in my homeroom class, sometimes in the morning time, a student, there may be like a Snapchat message or something that a student gets, and you can hear it in their backpack. I have them keep their backpacks on the wall, and the students will just ask me, hey, can I turn my phone off? And maybe they turn it off, maybe they put it on silent. I don't really know, but they are very proactive about taking care of that. And it doesn't happen all the time. And I haven't had to take up a phone at all this year. Not at all. And if I've ever seen one, I've told a student to put it in their backpack. It is November right now, and that's happened maybe once or twice. And I've had students ask me, they said, hey, can I put my phone in my bag? And for them being on the honor system here, I say, yeah, go ahead and do that. So it has worked really, really well. And a lot of other states are moving to do such things. As it says here, in some states, policies have been recommended. Let's look here in Arkansas. Incentivizes policy. It says Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders announced the creation of a pilot program to incentivize schools to restrict the use of cell phones during the school day. It'll provide funding for schools to pay for pouches for students, yada, yada, yada. So, there have been quite a few movements to do things about that. And it looks like that is the case here with this school. Now, what I just showed you was statewide restriction, but there are schools, individual schools, which, take care of these things on their own. They have made an on-campus decision or restriction or policy, whatever, saying we're not putting up with it. We're not allowing cell phones, and this is how we're dealing with it, which I think is really good. If you look down here in this article as well, it says that according to the Pew Research Center, 72% of high school teachers say students being distracted by their cell phones in the classroom is a major problem. Not only for education, but also for teachers themselves, because, yes, cell phones in schools hurts students, and it can interfere with their academic achievement because it is a distraction, but it also is turning teachers away from the field of education. You can search this up, but a lot of teachers have left. Some teachers who have been in the game for a long time have quit their teaching job, have looked elsewhere because they're tired of having to deal with it. Combine that with the fact that there is a teacher shortage. You have the veteran teachers leaving because of cell phone use. You got a teacher shortage. You got students failing academically. Like, something has to be done. And so these cell phone policies are great. And I hope that you, if you're out there as a teacher and a parent, you understand this and you are in support of this. And instead of threatening teachers for taking away student cell phone, you back up these policies. I like what is said down here at in the bottom of the article. It says cell phones are just like cars and a driver's license. They're a privilege, not a right. If it's a distraction, it needs to be addressed. And I agree with that. It's a big responsibility. And in schools, it can get out of hand. In years past, we had students going into the school bathrooms or locker room to record fights, to stage and record fights so that they could put them on social media, things like that. And I haven't seen that happen this year. And I like to think that part of it is because of the cell phone ban that we have at our schools. And we have made those policies that we have especially clear to the parents. We've sent, flyers home. It hasn't been left up to the teachers to do that. We're giving flyers like, here, send these home with your students today. So I'm thankful to be in a school where we are supported. And that's my next point that I want to make here is, like, if you're a teacher and you're getting a threat, some legal action, what do? Well, you can always trust that the Reddit experts know what to say. Let's look at what the commenters on Reddit said. Like I said, the original post was deleted. It says here, sorry, this post was deleted by the person who originally posted it. And up here at the top, you got Night Major. There is a frequent rule in customer service. If a client threatens legal action, you cease communication and refer the client to the legal department. Yeah, so good advice there. This is upvoted 1.2 thousand times. Also, down here, IC Paramedic 778 says admin established the policy. Admin deals with the parents. The admin should also send an email to parents addressing parent conduct, verbally and physically, physical abuse, to include threats will result in a ban from school property, to include after-school events, graduation, etc. All right. And, some people are saying, yeah, call them on their bluff, blah, 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 all this other stuff. I wouldn't take it. I would just simply refer it to admin. That's from No Structure 507. Someone here, Still Bleeding Green says, the key here is imagine if parents cared half as much about their kids' education. Yeah, that's right. But that's what teachers, in my opinion, should do. If you're threatened with legal action from a parent, like, you need to forward this to your supervisor and say, hey, this is the issue that I'm dealing with. Can you help me out here? Because I can see, some teachers having them back and forth with parents on this. I would not be shocked at all to hear that, something like this happened and a teacher popped off on a parent and it got into a whole big deal. But when you are threatened, if there are any communications like this with parents, I document all this stuff. I keep this documentation and make sure that I have myself covered. I am big on documentation, even with my principal. Okay? Because let me give you some personal facts here. I am in a situation where I have had to send an email about boundaries to a particular staff member, and I'm not going to say who, but and it was someone who is above me in the school. But I did this to keep documentation on these things. Not that human resources will necessarily have my back, but I do these things in all matters, no matter what, to play by the game that is asked of me. Keep documentation, regardless of if the school necessarily has your back, because, like I said, you never know. But anyways, that's a whole side thing. Keep documentation, and with parents, especially with legal action, keep documentation. And I think that that's all I really have to say on this. I would just say that it's unfortunate that these kinds of things happen, Parents play the victim card and they think that you are singling out their students when their student has recurring issues. And even if you're the only teacher that is contacting a parent. I've had parents do that. I had last year I had a parent who wrote me this long letter about something that happened with her son, and it was the most outrageous thing for me, but just this long letter complaining. And I just gave it to my supervisor and I said, look, this is the situation. I just want to let you know. And, I'm not sure what to do about this. And then I did end up calling the parent because of something that the student had done in class. Like they were playing a game on their Chromebook and they lost technology privileges. And I had to deal with this whole thing with a parent talking to I was talking to the mother, and then the father was in the background, all these curse words, like saying all this stuff about me. And I finally just had to say, look, I'm going to have to go. This conversation has gone on too long, and I think that I need to step away because I've said what I need to say, and I don't think that we're making any progress or that this is productive for either of us. But yeah, and that student ended up leaving the school. Stuff like that. Parents are not always supportive, and I'm thankful for those parents who are supportive. However, they are out there, and if you were one of those parents that is and you were watching this video, just know that I appreciate you. But anyways, that's all I have to say on this article. What are your thoughts? Have you received threats of legal action from parents as a teacher? Let us know down in the comment section below. Are you a parent who is dealing with your child's use of cell phones at school? What do you think about this cell phone ban that's been going on? Let us know down in the comment section below. Also, make sure that you like this video if you like this content and you want to see more of it. Subscribe to the Classroom Camp channel and hit the bell notification icon so you never miss a video from Classroom Camp. Thank you for watching. That's all I have for you in this video. See you next time.